The Match Ball.
Hello there and welcome to the show. It's brought to you in association with Levi Solicitors, who will bag you another big three. Michael Normanton.
Hey, very good.
Do you want to do that, and I'll get some things ready over here?
Oh, you're pressing your buttons again,
I'm
are you?
pressing my bloody buttons.
If you want someone competent to deal with things, Levi Solicitors, they'll do you 10% off on a range of legal services, of which will work.
I would describe myself as competent up to a point. I think that's a fair description.
Yeah, which point?
3 points away from home, Rob, against Cardiff City, who were terrible. Or is it that we're just dead good?
That was a fantastically fun day. I think it was a bit of both. We had Bamford scoring while he's on his arse. You had Junior Firpo just living his best life. You had their defenders bumping into each other for us to score. We should do that every week. It was a lot of fun. We got to miss a penalty. It didn't matter. Brilliant.
Yeah, I've just looked at the stats because FOTMob breaks down big chances, 6-0 on the big chances today,
right,
which pretty much reflects it, doesn't it? It's weird. We scored 13 minutes in, and by the time that goal went in, you were like, "Oh, that's been coming for ages."
Yeah.
Which is weird with such an early goal. Like already, you were by that point, you were thinking, "We're going to rue these missed chances. We should already be a couple up here."
Yeah.
We're battering them, and as it was,
but it was just one-way traffic, wasn't it?
Yeah, completely. And then every point where you thought, "Oh, this could turn now." Like half time comes around, you think maybe they'll come out, made a couple of changes, maybe they'll come out fired up.
We know 2-0's a dangerous scoreline if you get the next goal.
Miss a penalty, is that going to give them a boost? No, it's not. They couldn't give a toss.
We're not even going to make a sub. We're going to really tire our own players out. Nah.
Another absolutely bizarre game where we're 2-0 up and completely in control of the game, and yet the opposition are not trying to in any way win it back. It's weird to watch, isn't it, at times?
Yeah, but you saw what happened when they did. I mean, God, they were useless. You could sense the disquiet in the stadium where every time they did get the ball, they were just pumping it anywhere, and you could see their fans kind of going, "Fucking hell," every time they're clearing it. But then when they try playing out, they just got themselves in trouble most of the time. So
it's difficult, isn't it, when the opposition is so superior that you feel like it's not fair. And I remember, and I'm not saying that to be a dickhead, because I remember us playing like Man City and feeling like, this isn't fair. Why can't we compete? It's not right.
It was nice though at the start of that second half. Like you say, you do slightly worry about, are they going to come out? But then within about a minute, their fans were booing them because they just were refusing to press us. And it was like, oh, cool. They're just going to do exactly the same thing and make this really easy for us.
And it turned into a stroll, didn't it, in the end? There was no point at which I felt any jeopardy in that game. There was perhaps a moment or two at 2-0 when I thought if they come out at the start of the second half and set about us, then we might just have to be on our guard here. But you always felt like, there was probably a third goal in that for us. At that point, but they never did they? They were just as bad and as low in confidence when they came out for the second half as they were in the first.
Yeah, I mean, apart from Melier coming out of his box to get involved, I don't think he had anything to do all day, did he? Did he make a single save?
He made one save towards the end of the second half, and I think that was their first shot on target, and it was a really comfortable save as well.
Yeah, they had a lot of shots that went 10, 20 yards wide over, some combination of the two, didn't they? I was enjoying that. Every time they had one, it's like, good, keep doing that.
I think, was it about an hour into that game when we looked at the stats and they'd had 4 touches in our box?
Yeah.
Just nothing at all. Have we got anything to moan about? Asks Lee. Normanton, help.
Missed another penalty.
That's the YouTube comments, by the way. We are live on YouTube for the TSB Plus members. Are you catching this afterwards?
That Gruev booking, that was a disgrace. That was a brilliant tackle.
Although he was both feet off the floor and flying a bit. No?
Nah, you've gone soft, Dan.
No?
Game's gone.
No, I don't want to see that given as a booking in any way, shape or form.
No, it was weird actually. You say there's anything to complain about? Not really, but I feel like several of our players were not actually at their best.
But we didn't need to be. Like Somerville, for example. Somerville.
Yeah, like Somerville had a bit of an off day, but he was still involved in 2 goals.
He got an assist for one, didn't he?
He pulled it back to Rute, didn't he? And did he assist the first one as well, or was that
he
first
assisted the second one, James.
Yes, so he was still involved in loads of stuff. Still caused him a lot of problems, but actually had some quite bad touches. There was one where he was put through on goal, and you typically expect him to take a touch and score, but he more or less passed it to the goalkeeper on it. There was another one where it was pulled back to him, and he put it wide. And these are chances we've become accustomed to him taking.
Just saying to one of my friends before, we were messaging back and forth today about Somerville, and it was like a golfer when you just can't quite trust his swing.
Yeah, so he wasn't great, but still
didn't need to be.
Still did well.
We should talk more about how good we were, though.
Yeah,
we were very good.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It felt like on another day, if all those players had actually had good days, we could have probably been talking about a 7 or 8-0 win there, because to the chances we had and how easily we seemed to be able to cut through them.
Yeah. But the fact that you were saying when we scored the opening goal, it felt like it had been coming. Compare that to our previous away performances where we've been getting beat, and it's felt like it's been a real slog to try create anything. Whereas today, I just thought we were moving the ball really quickly from the start. We're moving it forward. We're getting our attacking players into the game, which we just haven't done in those away games. And it was like, yeah, we're just in our groove straight away.
Interesting, wasn't it? How to see how the inclusion of Bamford up front with Georgie just floating around doing his own thing behind him, how it's changed us. And I did wonder, like, it's one of the theories I've been floating about, like when we've been speaking to Phil, because he knows what he's talking about, I think, about whether Bamford is a slightly more basic kind of championship-y option up front in many ways, and it's we can play a more direct style of football. He can just play off the shoulder of the last man, that kind of thing.
In some ways,
versus the intricate passing all the time, and it seemed to actually work today.
But in some ways, is it just a personnel change? Because this is kind of what people have been asking for a while, is that we don't see Pirro doing number 10. We see Rutte doing it. Rutte's much better, right?
Yeah.
Is the evidence we've seen. So,
yeah, I mean...
Thought Mob have given him man of the match today, by the way, statistically.
Rutte?
Yeah. 8.7 out of 10.
I guess, did all of our players get above 7? I'm guessing they probably did.
Yes. Yeah, they did. Lowest was Gray at 7. But yeah, you're talking Rodon 7-7, 7-1 for Ampadu. I thought it was excellent today. But they did this by algorithm according to passes. So if the defenders don't have that much to do, which they didn't really, did they? Then the forward players are always going to score more highly than that. But yeah, 7.1 for Kamara Junior, which we'll get onto in a minute. 7.6. Somerville 8.1. You see, well, I thought Somerville just had a real off day today, but that assist then boosts his numbers, doesn't it? James 8.4, Bamford 8, 8.7 for Georgie.
What were Gruev and Kamara? I thought they were really good.
Kamara 7.1, Gruev 7.9.
Yeah,
Gruev's best
good.
game, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Greif. Yeah.
As
Johan
Bryn was called. Well, so we had Bryn Law on the commentary because we were getting relays from our Germany office, weren't we, today?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's where we are now, actually. We've got a replica of this built in Europe.
So we can fly
out
out and legitimately watch LUTV, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Which we did pay for, by the way, from Germany in Deutschmarks.
In Deutschmarks.
Yeah, sure did. But yeah, we were excellent today. And Georgie's just so much fun, isn't he? He's just great value.
I think somebody described him as the least conventional footballer I've ever seen. Yeah. Just every time he doesn't do it, and he never ever does the thing you expect, does he? Like the way he'll pick it up and turn. You can see normally a pass that is an option, and he'll just set off doing his own thing, spinning about. Yeah,
at his own pace, with his own ideas in mind. Yeah,
but he's great.
There was a chance for him in the second half. 70 minutes, I made a note of it. It was one that hit well over, but we were just playing at like walking football pace, just knocking it around him, dribbling past him, just completely taking the piss. It was great fun. I was thinking for the third goal, if I was a Cardiff fan, you would just be completely losing your head watching like your own players bump into each other. But thankfully, they'd all gone by then, so they didn't have to watch it.
You just know sometimes as a fan, don't you? Like, there's just no point in us being here. It's a bad day, and I need to go home.
The third goal was a nice illustration as well of just having better players, and in that case, just a faster player. Because most times in the Championship, those two defenders who end up clattering into each other aren't being put under that level of pressure at that point in a game by that faster player, so they're just able to deal with it. But
when you say fast player, are you talking about Bamford here?
Bamford, he's quick. He's quick enough.
Yeah. Well, what he does though, he occupies the centre halves and he blusters about, causing trouble, which gives all the sort of perhaps silkier players who operate just behind him and out wide, like Dan James, for example. When I'm coming to talk about silky players, the space in which to kind of operate, whereas he's just keeping things busy up there. He's kind of the attritional front man. Yeah,
because I do think Georgie, wherever he plays, he's just going to do Georgie things. Like when he's been playing as a number 9, he's been doing that all season. And I got really sad in midweek and was like looking at his heat map to compare if he does anything different depending on what position he plays. And he's never in the box really. Like even if he's playing as a striker, he's never in the box. He's just dropping deep, drifting wide. Again, just taking the piss, whatever he does. Like he's great fun to watch.
As Tom's just saying in the YouTube comments, as Bryn and Tony said, here's the easy way, the hard way, and the Jorginho way, which I really like that.
Yeah, he was great. And a nice little Luke Ayling tribute with his celebration as well when he finally did get his goal as well. I know. That was a nice touch.
It was, yeah.
He's won today as well, hasn't he, Ayling? Did Middlesbrough win in the end?
Yeah, they were winning when I last
checked. They kicked off late, didn't they? Have they seen it out?
Oh, of course they did, yeah.
Let's have a look, shall we?
And we can celebrate their win because they're playing Millwall.
Yes, Millwall 1, Middlesbrough 3. A Luke Ayling-inspired victory by the looks of it. He got 7.3 out of 10 on his debut. No assists or anything like that. But yeah, they won at a bit of a canter in the end. So well done, you lot.
Yeah.
Hey, we can afford to be generous today, can't we?
Yeah, Bamford was another one who I thought in some ways wasn't brilliant, but got a goal and was generally quite effective. So you can go, oh, well, fine.
If he scores every
Did
week,
everything.
it's fine. There's times when he just seems to take forever, or I don't know, you sort of think, come on, Pat, but he'd already scored by then, and you think, don't really care now, it's fine.
Yeah, there was another chance today. Dan James put him through in the first half when he went with his right foot, which I was actually pleased to see, because often he tries to have 4 or 5 touches and work it onto his left, but he went early on his right. It was a decent save by the keeper, actually, closed him down well. And there was another one, was it offside in the end? I think it might have been, where Firpo headed it across to him and he put it wide.
Is that the
Am I
one
imagining that?
He just took forever, didn't he, when he was like,
Yeah.
just put it in.
Yeah,
But
but you know.
Interesting point here by Hutchie, actually, in the YouTube comments. Just asking, does anyone miss the excitement of pressure with these easy wins?
Not today.
No.
Maybe over time.
I think, but it has been noticeable, particularly at Ellen Road this season, when the crowd's been flat, because you can see we're so superior to the opposition for most games. Like if you contrast it with the Ipswich game when it felt like there was some real jeopardy versus most of the games we've had at Ellen Road this season, then the jeopardy kind of increases the atmosphere. But then the rest of them sometimes look like a training exercise, because you just expect us to try and figure out how to get through this defence. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I don't know. I think after the last couple of seasons and the stress of being in the Premier League, and particularly all the stress that built up over trying to avoid relegation, why get stressed about this? I'm happy to have a bit of a break from it.
I'm not going to get stressed about it, because it's, a number of days ago that we were losing 2 consecutive away days and feeling miserable about it. So a nice steady 3-0 win without them laying a glove on you.
I was going to say,
fine.
there's plenty of time for pressure later in the season as well. So you've got to take these days when they come and
it
enjoy
is,
them.
it is just a reminder, after you have those little wobbles like we had over Christmas with the 2 consecutive defeats, where you just go, actually, we are all right. And, over the course of the season, which is how you have to judge these things. I don't know if you've seen that's how the league tables do work, despite what that Arsenal fan that we referenced.
Well, we're breathing down
Phil.
Leicester's neck, aren't we, after today? After
After they collapsed, are they finished?
they have collapsed. That's exactly what they did today. I mean,
The bald fraud, even?
a mere 14 points clear of us now. Well, pressure's on. Pressure's on big time. Southampton into second, though, so a bit of pressure on Ipswich, actually.
Yeah, they've had a wobble, and now they've been deposed from second. It could do funny things to them. The pressure can, when you've been the one that's been hunted down, as we saw when we didn't go up under the first season with Bielsa in charge, it can do funny things. Funny things to you, can't it?
Yeah, but that leaves us 11 points clear of 7th.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the playoffs.
Yeah,
We're very firmly in the playoffs.
Said that.
I think it's still there to be got. Second place is still there to be got if we just stick to it.
We've still got to play Southampton. We've got most of the tough away games out of the way.
I was going to say, it's been noted that all our away games between now and the end of the season are teams outside the top 8. And then we've obviously we're going to have harder games.
Top 8 until we play them.
Well, this is true.
And they may win some games against us. But yeah.
Do you know what's funny today? I've made no notes, basically.
It's because you're a professional.
No, I don't
think you ever make notes.
No, I do what I try and do. I try and make sort of the broad overarching notes of stuff that we should talk about. But I felt like today was almost such an easy win. There's nothing I needed to say that's original, or no great talking points from the game, other than we went out there and did the job that we were supposed to do.
I make normally keep a little note of anything each individual player does. It's quite telling that like Ampadu and Rodon, I don't really have any notes. I've just put easy game and calm written next to them, because they didn't have an awful lot to do.
Rodon made an excellent header in the first half when I think it was still 1-0 at that point, and the cross came in and their striker was waiting at the back post to score, albeit it'd have probably missed given the way they played, but he made a brilliant header to clear that. But they just they were in cruise control, weren't they? I really enjoyed Ampadu, that really early chance he had from a corner, just knocking Junior Firpo to the floor, like, Junior, get out of the way, I'm having this.
Shall we sell some more fullbacks?
Just keep selling them all and don't need them,
Well, I thought Ampadu moved to centre-back. That was fine. Firpo's injured now, so that's thankfully got rid of a left-back, because having 2 was a cheat. Grove was fine in midfield, wasn't he?
He can play centre-half. He does it for Bulgaria.
Just keep selling defenders, see what happens, see where we end up.
Yeah, I mean, just on the fullback thing, like Jim in the comments just saying they still want a right and a left back, don't want that result to come into the Americans that they're not needed. By the sounds of it, it's actually Farker who's more reluctant to get the players in at this stage. But you see, with Junior, obviously got his customary injury towards the end there, and you thought...
It's funny, because I thought I'd seen Firpo indicating he needed to come off, but then he was taking a free kick a minute afterwards, and there was some confusion whether it was a goal kick, throw-in or a free kick. And I was like, oh, no, it's fine. He's not injured. He was just trying to get clarification over that. But then he did go off and you saw him limping. It was like, for fuck's sake. It's this again.
The 49ers got a lot of praise in the summer for doing the very obvious thing. And I can't think of anything more obvious than Leeds United needing to sign a left back, given it's been obvious for about 5 years.
You just insure yourself against failure, don't you? If you get the bodies in, right and a left back, just to give yourself those options, rather than every week to week you're thinking, well, what if we do pick up an injury? Or, we're replacing one injured full back with one that's just coming back from injury.
Yeah.
Like, learn the lesson, surely. Especially if they've got the headroom, like, financially speaking, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the two left backs we've got have both been out injured a lot this season. And in Firpo's case, well, in both of their cases, they've both been out injured for the majority of the past 3 years.
Are we discounting Leo Yelder? He started the season at left back against Cardiff.
He's a centre-back. Let's be generous.
He's a centre-back for somebody else.
And say he's a centre-back from the bits we saw.
Should we talk specifically about each of the goals then? Because I don't think we've actually done that yet, have we? Bamford's on the floor, which we just started laughing at, didn't we? 12 minutes in, which is one of the few notes I did make in the first half. I've got the 1-0. Then after about 20 minutes, I put should be 3 up. 23 minutes Rodon important header, and then 25 minutes Paddy 1-on-1, and that was the moment at which I was like, oh god, no, please don't throw this away. But it turned into a procession, didn't it? But yeah, 1-0 on the floor. Somerville did well as well in the build up to that, didn't he?
Yeah, it was nice.
Some dancing feet,
sort of tenacious as well, because it was caught up with a couple of defenders, wasn't it? And he managed to battle his way through and get it across.
Firpo was involved in the build up to that, wasn't it? Before he ended up stood as the number 9, which he did a few times today, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I like the bit where, sorry, we're flitting about here, but the bit where Bamford was on the right wing and Firpo was over there getting in his way. It's like, what?
Lads,
Firpo was overlapping, wasn't he, on the right wing? And then he was pressing the goalkeeper. I was like, Junior, you're meant to be playing left back.
Does what he wants.
As I tweeted today from the Square Ball account, he's a free spirit, and he played a good free role today.
He does, and now he gets a month off as well, which is nice for him.
Yeah. I mean, it's middle of January. He needs a rest. He's been working hard in recent weeks. And then Dan James makes it 2-0 not long after I made that note, actually, about Paddy missing the 1-on-1. That's the point at which I stopped making notes in the first half, which I think when we went 2-0 up, that's the point at which I thought, we know which way this one is going and should go. But there's that little Leeds United voice in your mind going, don't get too complacent. Don't get too complacent.
Kamara was very good in the build-up to that, wasn't he? He nicked the ball off their midfielder.
Yeah.
And again, going back to our midfield, I feel like in those away games we've lost, I've been looking at our midfield going, should you just be getting a grip of this? Because it feels like we've been dragged down to like a very champo-y game. Whereas I felt like Kamara and Gruev today just got stuck in, kept the ball moving, and they didn't really let us get dragged down to that. We just kept on the front foot all the time, which was really good.
Yeah.
You're a massive Pablo fan, Rob.
I am.
Is Gruev on course to become our new Pablo? Asks James. Great vision at times.
I hope so.
I don't know if that's tongue-in-cheek. I hope it is.
It would be a turn up for the Bucks. But yeah, let's find out, I guess.
Yeah.
He had nice fluffy hair today. I did notice that.
Did you want to ruffle it?
Yeah.
You do. You bring
nice
up hair in most. Have you realised this? You bring up hair in most shows.
Just keeping a track of it.
Just hair watch.
Hey, the dead man.
We could do that as a regular
The
feature.
dead man's wig was seen in my house this morning.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah. Like
which, for the benefit of anybody who doesn't know what the dead man's wig is, Michael took his kids because Michael's like this for a day out, and you ended up in a
charity shop.
It's the charity shop that's attached to the kind of the household recycling centre, isn't it? And you can take stuff there to be sold on,
Yeah, and my son bought a wig.
They wanted a dead man's wig.
It was not like a fancy dress wig, but an actual wig that someone would wear who was bald.
Yeah.
And he was wearing it this morning when I got up.
Right.
Taunting you.
he had sunglasses and that on and was just roaming about the house.
Was he playing an American cop from the 70s?
It's quite stunning. You open your eyes and you're like, oh, okay, that's going on, is it?
Interesting. Anyway, dead man's wig. How did we get there? We were talking about the second goal.
We were just talking about Gruev's hair. That's where it came up from.
Second goal, sorry. Dan James, not offside, was he? Loads of players down by the byline, one in the middle. Let's assume it was fine.
People sliding about, weren't there?
Yeah.
I feel like every time Dan James scores, I always feel like, he deserved that today, did Dan James?
Yeah.
Because of his work. Because he's always just legging it about the entire game, isn't he?
It's nice as well. Cardiff fans were booing him in Rodon before the game had even started because of their Swansea pasts. So it was nice for James to get the goal. I think Somerville was good in the build-up to that as well, wasn't he?
Yes.
Because he had like 3 players around him and then suddenly he just created space for himself.
Yeah. Yeah, for someone who had a bad game, he did loads of good stuff.
Just thinking now as we go through it.
And he had that shit penalty.
We've been toying with Junior Firpo nicknames, pet names. Ferp Goat, Paul is going for. Roberto Firpo Carlos.
No.
We'll keep working on it.
I mean, we're not going to see him for a few weeks, are we? So, wouldn't it be nice if he's just had a bit of cramp? If that's what it turns out to be, he was signally needed to come off, but just because he's played it. I mean, he got to like 84 minutes or something, didn't he?
I think he's just such a nice guy. He wanted to get by him with just a few minutes.
Maybe.
No pressure for his injuries. It's fine.
Just running through the goal. So, 2-0. What else happened in the build-up to that?
That was it, really. They were trying to play it out, weren't they? Kamara nicked it off him, passed to Somerville. He crossed it.
Well, he
wasn't. Yeah, whatever happened.
He did well. It was fine.
Something went on and Dan James tapped it in.
Something went on and Dan James tapped it in. That's the Square Ball podcast for searing analysis.
It's on YouTube. Watch the goal if you want.
I was just trying to refresh my memory about what we actually did, but never mind.
I did. My other notes from the first half.
Some stuff happened. You know what it was by.
It's the only bit of my notes that I've written in caps. 27 minutes. Why Meslier?
Mine says Mellier's a lunatic.
Oh, was that when he came out?
Yeah. Ampadu was just running alongside their defender, calmly dealing with everything. Then out of nowhere, Meslier appears and they actually get to it first. And
didn't he head it over the attacker or something?
Yeah, because I think their striker got a little touch on it, but then Meslier intercepted it with his head and the whole thing was just so unnecessary.
Were you willing them to bring Chris Clarkson straight off the bench at that point?
Yes.
Right, good. And then, that was my last note of the first half was the one-on-one. I felt quite comfortable going into half-time. Don't know about you?
Yeah.
It felt pretty relaxed. They say as long as we can come out and not do something stupid at the start of that second half.
At half-time, their XG from open play, because I think they had one header off a corner, their open play XG was 0.04.
Right.
Which I don't know if you know is not much.
No.
So not much threat at all, isn't
That was like that 35-yard hit that, I mean, it went well wide in the end, but we were like,
just laughing.
That'd be so fucking Leeds if that goes in after we've created all these chances.
Goal of the season. I mean, their XG by the end was still only 0.37 to our 3.73. So it was a pretty fair reflection of the scoreline. But we could genuinely have had 4, 5 or 6 there.
Just looking down, Dan James hits the bar, doesn't he? That nice bit of interplay with him and Archie Gray, which that looked like it was going over actually. Then it hit the bar and we're like, oh, obviously that's pretty close.
Did you sigh a sigh of relief at 79 then when the penalty was given? Because you were like, there was like a not Pat. You've been doing so well, Pat, recently. Don't ruin this for yourself. But that penalty, Somerville kind of summed up his day, didn't it, really?
What, when he got 2 assists?
No, but he just. I felt like I was saying earlier on, like he couldn't trust his swing today. It just, for whatever reason, it just wasn't happening for him today.
Apart from the 2 assists.
Apart from the 2 assists.
Even the way.
Did he get 2 assists?
Sort of, maybe.
I think he sort of did.
He's got 1, hasn't he?
Well, I don't know.
We'll give him 2. Even the way we won that penalty was great, though, because Rodon basically cleared the ball for them, and yet they still gave us a penalty.
I mean, I guess the point is, if that's one of his bad days, that's all right, isn't it? All things considered.
The penalty, we only got one angle of it, didn't we? It looked a little bit soft.
And he actually properly looked to that side of the goal with his eyes, as you tend to look with your eyes. He looked where he was going to put it.
Yeah.
Keeper went the right way. I mean, he probably would have put it in because he hit it dead hard. You're a big advocate of kicking the ball dead hard.
It wasn't that hard. Wasn't that hard.
How hard was it?
He kicked his other
penalty. On a scale of 1 to 10?
5.
Right.
Not as hard. His penalty the other week, he kicked that hard.
Yep.
And you're an advocate for kicking it in the net as well, aren't you?
Yes.
Crucially.
As opposed to on the post.
The post, yeah. Post off target, isn't it?
Is there any point then where you thought, oh shit, this could come back to bite us with 10 minutes to go? Because we kind of managed those next few minutes, and then he made the subs, didn't he, in the 80 minutes, just to break up the play. What did you feel like going into those last 10?
I just don't think there was any danger.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at my notes from the start of the second half, and there's a chance, the Somerville chance which he put wide, the Somerville chance which him and Rutter played a 1-2 and chipped it over the defence and he volleyed it over. 2 minutes after that, Dan James, his chip hit the bar, and then 2 minutes after that, my note just says, fuck me, they're awful. So I don't think there was really ever any danger, was there?
No. And then
the one time they did get in behind that looked dangerous, I think they just passed it straight to Meslier off a cross.
Yeah.
Which I think might have even counted as a shot because it was vaguely towards him.
Just on Firpo, comments now coming through from the post-match. Phil has just reportedly said that it's a dead leg for Firpo, shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
I don't know if dead leg means it'll have to come off.
That's sepsis in the leg. It's gonna have to be removed.
Off it comes. Sorry, Gene. Bottle of brandy.
Left his leg in Wales.
And then it's
dead legs shouldn't be that. I mean, dead legs can be bad actually, depending on the amount of damage, or it can be it can be like 3 days or 3 weeks.
I mean, as a rule, anything dead is not good, is it?
No, because like that was a dead leg. Do you remember when Rafinha got that bad one where someone absolutely
City won it. That
yes, it was. It was.
He was cynically twatted by what's his mush, wasn't he?
Fernandinho. Wasn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah. That was. I think that was technically a dead leg, but it was very, very big impact.
very
as well.
dead.
Very dead.
but back to the goals, 3-0. And it was dead funny watching us basically try and walk it in, and for Georgie to get his goal as well, because I feel like he's deserved when all the fun stuff he's done in recent weeks. But I mean, I'm just describing it. Then there's a smile on your face.
If you can pick anyone for a goal, you want it to be him, don't you? Just because he's fun and he'll enjoy it.
Yeah, and he did, and the celebration, "Be Still, My Beating Heart," the tribute to Luke Ayling was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We gave it a big celebration for that, but I think we were just celebrating how hilarious the goal was more than anything. And then the fact that it was Rutter that scored it topped it all off for hilarity, I think.
Oh, it was just great.
It felt like it'd been coming for ages, didn't it, the goal as well? Because we'd had basically a full half of pressure again, missed a penalty, missed several other chances. You're like, come on. Even though it's at a stage where it's almost, because it's reached the stage where it doesn't matter. It's like, oh, we can score now. We'll finally get it just to finish this one off now, because they're not going to get back in anyway, so we'll just add a third.
I think their keeper was sat on his ass twice in the build up to that, because we were just again taking the piss and just waiting until we were ready to score.
It's one of those as well when you see it getting pulled back and you're like, oh, he misplaced it, Pat can't reach it. Oh no, it's the right pass, Pat's left it.
I did shout, "What are we doing?" at that point. I was panicking that we were going to mess. I was panicking we were going to mess another chance up.
And obviously Rutter's nice and calm with it as well, and he takes a touch, lets everyone slide about the box trying to stop him, and then just puts it in the net.
Because he'd had that chance as well to score earlier on, didn't he? And
of course, the one where he tried to lob the keeper, didn't he?
Yeah, and you felt, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but yeah, there were so many chances in the game.
There was another one as well that was pulled back to him on the edge of the area that he put over.
Yeah, I think
that was one that was
that one earlier.
Walking.
Yeah, so he could have had a couple by that point. But, happy days.
It's quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone who says it's boring, it's just good. It's just good.
This is what it feels. You have to be stress free. Maybe we are addicted to the stress, though. Maybe we are just a bit.
No, I'm just content today.
You're happy just to have the contentment.
Yeah,
it is a much nicer feeling than living at your wit's end every week, isn't it? But the white kit, still undefeated in the white kit. It is our lucky talisman. Whereas obviously we know the blue one is completely jinxed.
Yeah, what are we in next?
It's
a home game, isn't it? So it'll be a home kit.
Yeah, that's generally how things work.
Yeah, probably playing
under the competition rules. Yeah, so that's good. But praise for Gruev as well from Farker today in the post-match, just reading Phil's tweets saying it's a position where we never had problems. Sorry, Ilya had to wait a lot. Today he showed that he's a top player with a top mentality.
Very good. Yeah, we were saying he's played with Ampadu before, hasn't he? And it's not been quite right in there, the balance.
Well, to say, just with reference to Ampadu, Farker said Gruev gave Leeds exactly what Ampadu has given them in midfield this season as well. So maybe they can't cross the streams like that. They just need to have one or the other.
Because I think that was the first time he started with Kamara.
Yeah, it feels like that.
With Gray, wouldn't last week, didn't he?
Yes.
So, but that's like really good if he emerges as a proper option in midfield. Because I mean, he's played in the Bundesliga. He should sort of stand out, shouldn't he? And he was good. He
was decent against Peterborough as well, wasn't he? But yeah, I think today's his best game.
I think Farker's mentioned it before as well. Like when everyone's going mad about rotation and everything, Farker's point has always been the team just gradually evolves through the season anyway, and you've kind of seen that in the last few weeks that it's a very different team to what started the season, basically.
Yeah, like but Pirro's out now, isn't he? And Bamford's in, and you can't drop Bamford on the basis of what's happening in recent weeks. Farker describing it as our most mature performance of the season. We've had electrifying performances at home. Cardiff's a difficult place to come. So to be in control, overall pretty happy. We kept them totally quiet. The win was never in doubt. I was especially pleased with the control. Sometimes when you're 2-0 in the lead, you feel too comfortable. We stayed with our foot on the gas. Yeah, it was a very different type of away performance that compared to some of the stuff we've seen, particularly over the Christmas break, wasn't it? But different opponents and all that.
The way we kept the pressure up was impressive actually, because it would be easy to 2-0 up with 5 minutes to go for Dan James not to keep pressing or whatever. But it did just feel like we were not willing to let that one go for a second there. So.
Yeah.
Good.
All good.
Do
good.
more of it.
Happy days. Do more of that. What have we got coming up this week then? So Monday with Phil. We'll get the view from the press box. We'll do some propaganda. Come and get some nice propaganda.
Can do. I'm trying to think what I found with Cardiff earlier. Earlier in the season. I don't think there's too much of it, but we'll find some. I feel like almost it's going to be too comfortable of a win to get any real fury. I feel like you're going to find apathy with Cardiff fans just being like, not fair.
And we're in that strange half week off for half the Premier League as well, aren't we? So there might not be too much there. We'll find something. We'll find something for you. So that'll be coming sort of around Tuesday time, and we'll be back to preview. Who's the next game? Preston. We've only just played them.
Yeah, no.
3 home games in a week as well, haven't we? Because we've got Preston, and then the Norwich game, which has been rearranged from the weekend to midweek, followed by the cup game against Plymouth. So Ellen Road 3 times in 6 or 7 days. It's a lot of home trips.
No point going home, is there?
Should we just stay here?
Stay in the office.
All right, let's do that. We'll wrap it up there. Thanks for joining us on the live stream, or if you're listening or watching afterwards, and we'll be back with all the usual stuff through the rest of the week. See you in a bit.
The Match Ball.